Welcome back to our course. So the first lecture is on the data types, and as I would like this course to be very practical and hands-on learning and practicing coding, etc., I right away start diving into the coding environment so we can easily test everything here together. So basically, this is the environment that I'm using here, but it's not important what environment you're using. Whatever you're using, either it's online or it is installed on your desktop, Mac, or whatever. The important thing is that you just keep trying and you just keep making mistakes and try and start doing it. It may in the beginning look like, okay, this is too easy in the beginning. I don't even need to try it, but believe me, you need to try and you need to start coding. So, in the beginning, when we have like as you see here, everything is commented. But how things are commented in C++? If we want to comment something, for example, now I would like to make some changes. As you see here, we see the red part here, meaning that we did some modification, but we haven't registered it yet. And the modification that I just made was just pushing the tab button a bit so the line would start from the not from the start, but a bit further. So here we want to write something like author is Reza Shahin. So as you see, this is unknown type name for the programming language, and it returns immediately, it returns error. In order to keep some comments, we can just put two slashes here so it is now commented. I can have this one here, like the author, the date, uh, the I don't know, this code is the first version, for example. All these information can be commented, and then you start your code as of line 20, for example. So when I push Control S, everything is saved, and you see the green light here saying that, okay, this is now registered. So this is the first type of commenting in the code. And the second type is in C++, we can have slash star and then star slash in the end. And whatever that are between slash star and star slash are commented. As you see here, for example, for data types, it is commented, so it doesn't have any problem for the code and the compiler. Let's start from the line 1. This is the default include that we consider for the C++, and we include this one for considering a string in our code. But just by default, consider these two including parts. Later on the course, I would discuss different including things that we can consider and why they are important. But this is not the point of our lecture today. So these two includes are now working. The rest are commented as there are two slashes behind them. Typical C++ programming would have like a few lines for including lines and then one int main function. So when we open the int main function, the first lesson is the data types. So data types, we want to start it. As you see here, we put some information in commented, but the things that we would like to discuss in today are also commented. So I remove the slash. You see here, now we defined one integer value named a that is said to have the value 1. But we have one warning. It says that you declared one integer value and you have not used it yet. It's okay, but we are going to use it later. But it is just sending us some warning to consider. So the first data type is the integer. When we want to declare an integer value, one of the ways is to define it as int I, int, and all of them should be lowercase, equals to 1, and then we have a semicolon there. So we can also have like int When we used in a one time, we cannot say another time a. For example, I cannot reassign a. It says that redefinition of a, so there is an error. I would say a1. So a1 is 2 now. So we declare two integer variables. The first data type that we need to learn is the integer. And then we have the type float that is for numbers that are having decimal values. So we define the float b with the value say 3.14, and we need to be careful about the semicolon in the end. Whatever we write in our C++ programming, it must end with a semicolon in a line. So it still gives us some warning saying that it is unused. Again, it's not a problem. We're going to use it. So there are two ways to define numbers that are having decimal values. The first one was float, and the second one was double. So we can also declare double when we are having a number with decimal values. And there are some, small differences between float and double that we will discuss later on in the course. However, if you want to just have a clue of the general differences, is that when we declare a number with the float type, it uses usually 4 bytes of memory, and when we declare it as a double, it uses 8 bytes of memory. So what's the difference? So it consumes the memory more. So if we are going to use a number that is larger than a certain amount, it is recommended to use double, so it gets more memory usage. But if we are going to simply use a number with decimal values that are not so much large, we can simply just declare them as a float. But how large, how small they should be to choose between float or double, this we will discuss in the comparison that we will make in the upcoming lectures. But for the moment, that is enough for you to know that there are two types, float and double, that you can declare either of them, but there are some differences in terms of the memory usage. And also double can represent a wider range of values compared to float, because because of its higher precision and larger memory size. So this is the only thing that we need to know for the moment about it. And then we have characters that we can define, like character. It is with the name char, char, and this is char name. It could be whatever. It could be like my character equals. It should be. You should really be careful about the quotations here. Like whatever you want to put there, you can put, for example, my name, Reza. It's okay, but it should be between these two quotations. If we forget about one quotation, we will have error. If we forget about two quotations, we will have error. So it must be between two quotations, and of course with a semicolon in the end. And the last one that we would like to discuss is a Boolean type. We declared an ABC named Boolean that could be whatever, like my bool, we could declare equals true. So for the Boolean, there are only two values that can be assigned, either true or false, and that's it. It's either 0 or 1. When it's true, it represents the value 1, and when it's false, it represents the value uh, when it's false, it represents the value 0. For the float number, it's the same. We can declare all the numbers with decimal values, and for the integer, it's only integer values. Sorry, for example, we cannot have an integer declaration for a and then consider having it with decimal values. It gives us some warning saying that you need to use double or maybe float for this and not the type integer. So these are the basics data types that we needed to know in the beginning. Then we learned about how to put comments. You see here now our code we push the Control S and our code is registered, and these parts are comments. So whatever we put there, like whatever we type there, it's considered as nothing, as it is not even existed. So uh, this is the first way of putting comments, and then we have the second way of putting comments like this between slash star star slash. And finally, we learned about different data types that we declared here. In the next lecture, we dive into more details about the data types.